Hi, lovely people. Thank you for reviewing my story. I hope you enjoy it. My name's Ariana and I'm 26, female. Growing up, I was always that kid dreaming of a chaotic yet beautiful mess, a huge family. The kind you see in movies where there's always a kid running around, another one crying, and someone in the background yelling about dinner. Yeah, that was my dream, and it made me happy just thinking about it. Now, the idea of being a housewife, that was the icing on the cake for me. I wanted a litter of 8 or 9 little rascals, and I wasn't shy about letting my boyfriends know. Surprisingly, not many folks shared my vision. It scared off a fair share of potential boyfriends, leaving me swiping through dating apps with a dream that seemed a bit too ambitious for most, especially in the 21st century. I mean, I get it. Kids are expensive. So I knew that finding the right match was going to take a bit of time. Well, the years were floating by, and I don't know if you know this, but in order to have 8 to 9 kids, you're going to have to start fairly early. So when I hit 25, I started getting worried because nobody seemed to want me. I was lonely and frustrated, and I was honestly on the verge of giving up. Until one day, I found myself at a Kevin Hart comedy special, sitting next to this charming and, dare I say, an equally funny guy named Michael. Crazy, I know. It was a random and chance encounter that changed everything. We laughed together through the entire special, and by the end of the night we were exchanging socials. At the time, I had just gotten out of a nasty breakup, so I didn't think this would go far. Just a night of laughter and maybe some temporary distraction. But Michael? Oh boy, he was persuasive in the best possible way, if you catch my drift. Michael was quite the charmer. He had this way of making me feel like I was the only girl in the world. It was sweet. And I was totally in love. Marriage was the end goal for me, of course, and I couldn't wait to meet his family. But for some reason, even after several months of dating, Michael seemed hesitant about introducing me to his folks. It was weird. I mean, we were serious, right? I kept on bugging him about it, asking why he was keeping me hidden from his family. Dodgy answers and sidestepping became his thing. One day I just couldn't take it anymore, and I demanded, "At least let me meet your mom." That seemed to scare him a bit. I pressed him, asking what his problem was, and well, let's just say that turned into an argument. "Michael, we've been together for months now, and I still haven't met your family. What's the deal?" "Don't come at me with that. I'm probably never going to meet your family, so why are you rushing me?" "That's not fair, Michael. You know I don't talk to my family like that. But you're good with your family, so what's the hold-up?" "Ariana, it's not that simple." "Come on, it's time. At least let me meet your mom. What's the big secret?" "No!" "Excuse me?"
"Look, Ariana, my mom is different. I've been avoiding this because I knew it might complicate things."
"Different? How? Complicate things? How?"
She's got some pretty backward views, you know. She might not be comfortable with us being together."
"What do you mean?"
Ariana, she's kind of racist. I know it's messed up, but that's just how she is."
"What? I didn't expect that at all. You're serious?"
"Dead serious. I didn't want to bring you into this mess, but I also didn't want to lose you."
"Just when were you planning on telling me that your mom is racist?"
"Look, Ariana, to be honest, I didn't even know that we would be together this long."
"Excuse me?"
"No, wait, that came out wrong."
"You think? Is that all you ever wanted? To hook up with a Latina and then leave? You're sick."
"Ari, please wait. Hear me out. I was scared, okay? I knew you'd react like this, and no, that's not why I'm with you. I've grown to love you. I want to be with you. Only you."
"Yeah? Well, I'm not so sure I want to be with you anymore. Thanks for wasting my time."
I took some time away from Michael after learning about his mom being racist. That hurt, ran deep, and it seemed like a deal breaker. For months he kept blowing up my phone, pleading for another chance. His consistency told me that he was being genuine and that he really cared for me. I'm not going to lie, I felt kind of special being chased after like that. and that's on daddy issues. So I was falling for him all over again. I told him that we could get back together on the condition that we meet his mom. When he agreed to introduce me to his mother that very same day, I was cautiously on board. It was both surprising and touching that he was willing to fight for us. I half expected him to flat out say no, like he always did, giving me the strength to reject him once and for all. But he seemed to be willing, and so I was willing. I mean, that is what I wanted all along, right? I kept telling myself that everything would be okay, that they would see me for me and not my race, and I was crossing my fingers when we finally met up. The day came and Michael nervously led me to his parents' house. I was on edge, not knowing what to expect. As we walked in, his mom, Rose, greeted us with a forced smile. It was obvious she wasn't thrilled. Uh-oh. We exchanged awkward pleasantries, but as we talked more and more, I could sense the tension growing. Rose made little effort to hide her discomfort, and it felt like there was an invisible wall between us. Michael tried to mediate, but it was clear his mom wasn't budging. As we sat in their living room, I couldn't help but feel like an outsider. Rose didn't ask me anything about myself and only engaged in conversation when necessary. It was painfully obvious that she disapproved of our relationship. And that's the story of how we met. He was very sweet to me, and I fell for him instantly. I felt the exact same way, babe. Rose, I would love to take you to one of these specials. There's this really cool comedian who's all about women and women's rights and... Remind me again, what's your name? Oh, it's Ariana dos Santos. Ariana. Michael, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed. Mom, can we just enjoy dinner? Ariana's an important part of my life. Well, let's see about that. What do you do for a living, Ariana? I work in marketing. It's... marketing. I thought your people... What about my people? I'm just saying I never would have pegged you for the marketing type. Is that even a stable career, Michael? Mom, Ariana's successful in what she does. You have to respect that. And your family, Ariana, what do they do? My family, you don't need to ask her about that. It's a bit of a sore spot. Typical. Mom, what is wrong with you? Michael, you can do better. Mom, that's not fair. Ariana is wonderful. Mrs. Rose, I don't think... Please, dear, let the adults talk. Mom, that's enough. We're here to enjoy a meal, not to interrogate Ariana like she's some criminal. I mean, have you checked? I swear to God, Mom. I'm just asking, don't be mad at me because I have your best interests at heart. Like I said, we're here to sit down, enjoy each other's company, and enjoy this meal. Enjoy your meal, then. We'll see how long this, whatever this is, lasts. Michael, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, Ariana. My mom can be difficult. Just ignore her, please. Okay, let's try to enjoy dinner. After a strained and uncomfortable evening, we left, and Michael apologized a lot. He admitted he underestimated how challenging this would be and promised to talk to his mom to try and make her understand. Days turned into weeks, and Michael kept reassuring me that he was working on it. However, deep down, I couldn't shake off the feeling that our relationship was trapped in a web of stupid family drama. I really should have left him then and there, but for some reason I didn't. I just thought that things would get better. I saw Michael trying so hard for us, so I thought that everything would turn out okay. I thought, that's the type of person I want as a husband and a father. He was so strong and he was constantly fighting, so this was ticking all the boxes in my head. So as time went on, the tension with Michael's family stuck around like a bad smell. We tried to build our life together, but the fact that his family skipped out on important stuff just made the disapproval more obvious. Michael and I ended up getting married in a small chapel where neither of our family members showed up. His family didn't approve of this wedding, and mine didn't show up either because I've always had a toxic relationship with my family.
Michael did his best to have my back, but I'm not going to lie. The whole dream of a big, happy family was slipping away. The thought of bringing kids into a world where they might not be fully accepted was eating at me day by day. Talks about starting a family turned into quiet thinking sessions. I just couldn't see myself bringing kids into a world where they might not be fully accepted. The memory of my wedding day just added to the heavy load on my mind. I tried to push down those feelings, but it was tough. Crying became a regular thing, and no matter how much Michael tried to reassure me, the pain stuck around. I started wondering if I could handle a lifetime of family gatherings tainted by ignorance and prejudice. Michael, always looking on the bright side, kept thinking things would get better, but deep down, I couldn't shake the sadness. A couple of months went by and I found out I was pregnant. You'd think I'd be over the moon, right? Well, reality hit differently. The happiness was there, sure, but it was tangled up with loads of worry and stress. The constant fear of how my in-laws, especially my horrible mother-in-law, would react to this news stole the pure joy that should have come with a wanted pregnancy. I felt robbed of the life I wanted, and it made me sick, not just metaphorically. Stress got the best of me, and I couldn't shake the fear that it might affect the pregnancy. Every little thing felt like a potential threat to me. I couldn't help but wonder if my constant stress would take a toll on the baby's well-being, and I hated myself for worrying so much. But I also hated Michael's family for causing this crap in the first place. And then there was Michael. I get it, dealing with a partner who's practically a tear factory isn't a walk in the park, but with a husband like him who needs enemies. I sensed a bit of resentment from him because he was juggling working and taking care of me. I tried to be better, to not unload my worries on him every day, but it seemed like the resentment was growing no matter what I did. Even if I bottled up my emotions or didn't tell him about the several meltdowns I had that day, every time he'd come home, he seemed to just be irked with me. Michael, what's wrong? You've been acting off lately. Can't you see I'm dealing with a lot? I don't need more stress. I'm just trying to help. What's gotten into you? You're always on my case, Ariana. Can't you just give it a rest? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. I just thought we could talk. It's been so hard with the pregnancy. I don't know what to do. Isn't this what you wanted, huh? A big happy family? Didn't you know that this is what it took? What's that supposed to mean? You're always crying and complaining and crying some more. It's exhausting. I know. I've been going through a lot and I've been doing the most. I can't help it. Really, I'm not doing any of this on purpose. I'm sorry, Michael. No, I shouldn't have yelled. I've just been stressed out. I didn't mean to take it out on you. I'm sorry, babe. Please don't be upset. Looking back, those arguments with Michael felt like a broken record. I'd cautiously approach him, trying to understand, only to be met with more anger, and eventually his BS apology. It became a painful cycle, and I was dealing with a lot already, so this was particularly hurtful. Looking back, I can confidently say that my pregnancy was far from the blissful experience I had hoped for, and I resent that every day. I attempted to bridge the gap with my mother-in-law, of course, hoping to find some comfort and support since I wasn't getting any from my man. Each time, however, I was met with rejection and hurtful comments about me and the baby. I was just about to give up hope on everyone when one day Rose called me, sounding as sweet as sugar. Ariana, I'm so glad you picked up. Are you? Yes, of course I am. Listen, I need your help with something. Of course, anything. So, as you know, my 50th is slowly approaching, and I need your help with organizing the event. While I was touched by the prospect of us finally getting along and seeing eye to eye, the timing couldn't have been worse. At 8 months pregnant, I was practically immobile. I looked like a freaking hot air balloon with elephant-sized feet. I spent most of my days resting and lounging around because I physically couldn't move. When I told her this, the OG Rose made a return,
cussing and yelling at me and calling me useless. Is that why you were sounding so sweet just now, because you needed help? Shame on me for thinking you'd actually change, Rose. You're just like your ancestors. You say that like it's a bad thing. Thanks for nothing, as usual. I was so ready to give up on everyone and everything. But I felt trapped because I was heavily pregnant with nowhere to go and no one to truly rely on. I was just waiting for the day I'd give birth to my beautiful baby so that I'd at least be a little bit happy. Another month went by and I was at Rose's 50th birthday party with Michael, standing at the entrance. It was the first time I had seen him smile in months and I was looking forward to spending some quality time with him. Maybe it was all the excitement, but just as we were about to enter, I felt something strange drip down my legs. My water had broken. Panic set in and I quickly told Michael. He led me aside to figure out what to do, but I couldn't shake off the panic. Then came the moment that, looking back, should have made me slap him. Michael suggested I go ahead to the hospital by myself, while he spent some time with his mom for about 20 minutes just so he could enjoy the party a bit. He promised to join me soon. Stupidly, I agreed to this without fully realizing the risks, thinking that Rose would be so impressed with me for not causing a scene and for handling this daunting task like a grown woman. I made it to the hospital when my cramps had just started setting in, making this all too real for me. In no time, I found myself in a hospital gown connected to tubes, dealing with intense labor pains. I called Michael, practically shouting into the phone, demanding he get to the hospital ASAP. The situation was serious and I needed him with me. Sorry, babe, but I'm not coming. What? What are you talking about? I'm enjoying myself here. Figure it out on your own. Did you hit your head or something? What's wrong with you? You sound like your mother. Maybe I should. She's been telling me about you, you know, telling me that baby might not even be mine. What? What the hell are you talking about? You think I don't know how your people act? My people? Oh my God, your mother has completely brainwashed you, huh? Funny, I thought you were smarter than that, but I guess the racist apple doesn't fall far from the racist tree. Say whatever you want, but I know your type. Girls like you just want to ride on my coattails, messing around with every guy in the neighborhood while I'm at work. You're disgusting. Michael, please, I never cheated on you. This baby is yours. If you come to the hospital, we can prove it. Don't bother. I'm going to enjoy this party. My mom worked too hard on this, and I don't know if I can trust you. Is that why you've been acting so weird, huh? Is that why you sent me here all alone, because you listened to your stupid mom? You're crazy. You should know better. What happened to us, huh? I'm literally shaking with pain for your child, and you don't want to see me? This is insane. Don't call me back. I'm having some much-needed fun. All the best with that bastard baby. I was left speechless after that call, and the nurses exchanged awkward glances, probably feeling bad for the drama they unintentionally overheard. The labor pains were intensifying, and the realization hit me. I had to make a call I'd been avoiding for a while. Somehow, through all the pain, I dialed my brother, Petros. It had been years since I'd last spoken to him, so I knew he'd be surprised. He started off by saying that he didn't want to speak to me, but I quickly cut him off to tell him that I was not doing okay, and that I wouldn't have called if it wasn't for anything serious. Things weren't so good the last time we left things. He was pretty upset when I left home at 16 because of our toxic parents, but I had to do it. I spilled everything out, explaining that I needed his help. The beeping noise in the background, mixed with my groans of pain, led him to ask what was going on. I revealed that I was in labor and I was alone and I was scared. I know Petros like the back of my hand. No matter how mad he was, he'd always be there for his sister. So he told me that I needed to send him my location and that he'd be there ASAP. I was feeling much better, knowing that I wouldn't be completely alone through all of this. And I don't know if it was the fluctuation in hormones, but I was so angry.
I was angry at Michael, at Rose, and at everyone and everything. Even while I was getting ready to push out a human being, my mind was focused on revenge. So before I cut the call with Petros, I asked him for one last favor. You see, Petros worked in the local police department and was climbing the ranks because I'd seen him make some appearances in the news and stuff. He was really killing it. I knew he had some connections that could help alleviate some stress. After a bit of convincing, he reluctantly agreed to help me out, clearly feeling sympathetic towards my problem. I told my brother Petros to shut down Rose's birthday party. I explained they weren't good people, and they clearly needed to be taught a lesson. Petros said he'd handle it, telling me all I needed to worry about was delivering a healthy baby, so I waited. About 30 minutes later, I was still cramping up, and Michael started blowing up my phone. When I answered, he sounded panicked, describing the scene like a SWAT team had torn everything apart at the party. Can you believe it? I don't know what to do. Hey, do you have a warrant for that? My mom is so upset. Michael, I'm literally giving birth right now. I don't care about your stupid problems and your mother's stupid party. In fact, I'm glad it got shut down. How could you say that? She hasn't stopped bawling her eyes out. Good. Now I'm sure she knows how it feels to be upset about something that has been completely ruined. I just wish I was there to see her face. What's that supposed to mean? I couldn't help but laugh. I told Michael he shouldn't have messed with me, saying if I had to have a crappy night, then so did everyone else. I was the one who called the cops on the party. What? Oh my God, my mother was right about you. No, Michael, she seriously wasn't, but you two have been wanting to paint me out to be the bad guy, so there you have it. Hopefully my little stunt gives you something to talk about, since you two are clearly racist a-holes with nothing better to do. Hey, I'm not racist. I treated you right. You were the one who was messing around with... And this is all based on what exactly? Stereotypes? Because it sure as hell isn't evidence, because there is none. Mom is now being handcuffed. What the frick? Get your hands off my mother. She didn't do anything. Very faintly in the background, I could hear what sounded like Petros saying that they wanted to do a thorough background check on Rose and that she'd have to spend the night in a cell. What? This is insane. I didn't do anything. You can't do this to me. I hate you. You and your people are always screwing with us. Leave us alone. I hung up the call because the labor pains were really amping up, and I was set on focusing on my baby instead of that BS nonsense. Even though I couldn't move, I felt like I was on top of the world. These people had disrespected me for the longest time, and they expected me to sit back and watch? No siree, not even when there's a baby on the way. I'm so glad I got my revenge.